Okay. Uh, so, sir, on behalf of Ballarpur Institute of Technology, Ballarpur, and on behalf of the organizing committee of the short-term training program, I welcome you to conduct a session in this STTP. On the second last day of this STTP, you have already conducted one session which was very, very interesting, which was liked a lot by our our attendees. And to introduce our honorable resource person in short, Dr. G.K. Avari sir has received BE degree from Rashtrasant Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University and ME degree from Thapar University, Patiala, Punjab, both in mechanical engineering. He has done his PhD in computational fluid dynamics from SG Amravati University in the year 2007. He has total 25 years of teaching experience at undergraduate, postgraduate, and research level, and 10 years of experience as an approved principal of TGP CET Nagpur, which is affiliated to Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University and engineering. It is an engineering college. His skills are being strengthened due to important experience at Sri Santa Gajanan Maharaj College of Engineering, Shegaon, which is a very renowned college. He is also recognized by AICTE, that is All India Council for Technical Education, as Margadarshak for NBA accreditation of Menti institutes. Recently, he has also been empaneled as a member in AICTE expert team. He has 3 patents and 1 product developed for Mahindra and Mahindra Nagpur to his name. He has total 19 Scopus Index journal and 213 citations, 33 international journal publications, and 22 international conference publications, and 11 national conference publications. He has authored total 8 books. 2 books are with CRC Press, Taylor and Francis Group, London, and others are also with renowned international publishers like Mercury International Publication. He has represented India in education fair at Colombo and Colombo, Sri Lanka, and also traveled to SCGI University, Malaysia on academic assignment. He has contributed in the development of academics as a board of study member at Goa University, SG Amravati University, and Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University. He is presently a board of study member in GH Raisoni University, Saikheda, MP, and also Yashwantrao Chauhan College of Engineering, which is popularly known as YCC, which is a renowned autonomous institute of Vidarbha. He is also board of study member in Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University and chairman of board of study in automobile engineering at Government Polytechnic Nagpur. He is a recipient of Best Principal Award and Best Paper Award at various international conferences. So, Dr. G.K. Avari sir, it is a matter of honor and great pride for us that you have accepted our invitation and you are here to deliver an expert talk. And now, may I request you to please start the session?
Okay. Thank you very much, Abhijit, for the nice introduction. Okay, and it's my pleasure to join all of you for this short-term training program, which is basically the application of the biotechnology in the agriculture engineering areas, or rather the tribal agriculture engineering. So once again, let me congratulate the honorable management of the institute, Professor Mr. Sanjay Vasadeji, and the honorable principal of the college, Dr. Rajnikant sir, and the coordinator of this particular program, short-term training program, Dr. Archana Nimkar ma'am, and all the team of the Ballarpur Institute of Technology for taking the initiative to organize the such kind of faculty development program. Basically, it is a short-term training program on the applications of the biotechnology in the tribal agriculture engineering or tribal agriculture areas. So on the second day of the STTP, I have delivered the expert talk basically on the biotechnology. What do you mean by the biotechnology and the applications of the biotechnology? Now today I would like to present my ideas about the what are the challenges in the biotechnology, what are the various products which is being available in the biotechnology, and at the same time the few case studies I would like to highlight here I don't know how much time will be there, and then accordingly whether I will be able to cover my topic in full or not. But anyhow, my book is coming, as Abhijit has told that I have authored a book with the Taylor and Francis Group, okay, CRC Press, and this book is will be released in the month of Feb 2021 on the 3D printing and additive manufacturing. So few case studies from this book that also we will be discussing how we have executed and how we are working in the field of biotechnology and using the biomaterial for the same. Okay, so thank you very much, Abhijit. Once again, congratulations to all the authorities at the institute and the Mr. Srikant Goje sir, the principal of the Ballarpur Institute of Polytechnic, Ballarpur. Okay. Let me check whether my screen is visible to you or not.
Yes, sir, the screen is visible. We can see the entire presentation now.
Okay.
And sir, before we move ahead with the presentation, let me share this with you
Yeah.
that we had a session. The expert person whom you had recommended, Mr. Abhijit Raut sir, he
Okay.
conducted a session on additive manufacturing and 3D printing for
Yes.
us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was the first time I was also introduced to the concept, and many of the people many of the participants of this STTP were introduced to this concept for the first time. And
Yes.
because you have mentioned that you are, you are publishing a book on this particular topic,
Yes.
let me tell you that it is really a very interesting topic, and also that awareness with respect to this topic is very much needed. So
Mhm.
once the book is published, please let us know so that we will most certainly would like to purchase a copy of it.
Okay. Thank you, Abhijit. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So today we will discuss about the global challenges and the directions for the agriculture biotechnology. Okay. So what are the challenges before us, and what will be the directions for development of the biotechnology in India, or we can say the worldwide? Okay. So the global concerns, the issues for the 21st century for progressing the biotechnology is one is nothing but the climate change, then the natural resource depletion. You know that the climate is changing frequently. Okay, today also, even though the winter is there, but the rainfall is expected in Nagpur region. So climate at the global level, it is being changing, and it is very difficult to understand the climate nowadays. And lot of changes are happening in the climate. So therefore, these are the climate changes are putting up the challenges for the biotechnology. Natural resource depletion is there. Okay, so all of we know that the natural resources which is being available with us, they are in the limited quantity. For example, the coal which is available with us as a natural resource, it is available in the limited quantity, and if we go with the exploration of the coal with the same rate, then in that case it is being said that in 50 years span of time, or maybe 30 to 40 years span of time, we will be finishing with the coal. So we need to identify some other areas of energy. Similarly, one of the natural resource for us is nothing but the water, and this is also depleting. There is a scarcity of water in some part of the country, and there is a surplus water in the other part of the country. At present also, the linking of river project, which was thought long back 70 years ago by the earlier government, and when the India got the freedom and independence, that time only it is being thought, but linking of river project, it is not being executed. So as far as India is concerned, again, the natural resources, and at the global level also, natural resources are depleting. So ozone depletion, okay, you know that there are a lot of hazardous gases which is being emitted through the various sources, like automobile pollution is there, vehicle pollution is there, even the thermal power plant, nuclear power plant. Okay, and the rate at which basically the development which is being going on, it is harming the environment, and there is a ozone depletion. Then the energy consumption is also putting up a challenges for the 21st century for the application of the biotechnology. Then the chemical pollution is there. Okay, you know that the chemical pollution, it is being going on even in the agriculture areas. We are trying to use the chemicals, okay, and fertilizers also. It is being consist of the various types of chemicals. Okay, इसलिए हम बोलते हैं कि 50 साल पहले जो सब्जी या फिर जो क्रॉप हमें मिलता था जिस क्वालिटी का, आज वो क्रॉप है ही नहीं. It is chemically polluted. Okay, even the vegetables which we are getting in the market, it is being polluted. Okay, so therefore all these things are challenges for the 21st century. Urbanization is there, soil deterioration is happening. Okay, ecosystem functioning somewhere, the eco balance, ecosystem functioning, it is being disturbed. Okay, and ecosystem is not there, and we need to maintain the nature's ecosystem also. Then the air pollution. Okay, you know that there are various sources of the pollution of the air, and nobody is concerned about the basically the environment. What is happening in the Delhi? You can see that the Delhi is undergoing through the third phase of coronavirus, and everybody is saying right from the Delhi government to everyone that this is happening because of the basically the air pollution. जैसे कि पराली जलाया आजू बाजू के एरिया में या आजू बाजू के स्टेट्स में, so naturally air got polluted. At the same time, the cold weather is there in the Delhi, and because of that, the spread of the coronavirus is there in the with the more intensity. So this is also the one of the challenges how to control the pollution. The loss of biodiversity, deforestation, desertification, and freshwater pollution. These are all the challenges, global concerns for the 21st century for the biotechnology. Okay. So the greatest challenge of the 21st century is feeding 9 billion people with a sustainable agriculture production system. Okay, because we know that okay, the land is same. Okay, agriculture land which is available with us is the same. Rather, it is it gets on reducing because of the increase in the population. The mankind is taking up the agriculture land, and the lot of buildings and the construction is going on. The roads are going on, bridges are going on, the houses are being constructed, and it is being happening throughout the world. Okay, even in India also, even if you see the Nagpur, Chandigarh, anywhere. Okay, what is being happening? The villages are being connected to the cities, and the agriculture field which was available with us, okay, it is getting reducing. So the Crispell in 2007, he said that the greatest challenge of the 21st century is feeding the 9 billion people with a sustainable agriculture production. So to meet these challenges in the 21st century and beyond, humanity will need a ever tool it can find. Okay, so this is one of the challenges for us in the 21st century, and therefore we need to have the sustainable development of the biotechnology. Now, how to face these challenges? Okay, so sustainability, that is increasing yield stability under different stress condition, understanding of the mechanism that determine crop productivity and yield. Okay, so that is the by this way we can face the challenge. The biodiversity present in the region is a source of important traits to improve the cultivated plant. However, most of this diversity is threatened by genetic erosion. Okay, biotechnology could be one strategy to be adopted in order to obtain a sustainable, suitable varieties with the traits of interest that will face the problems encountered in the field and to satisfy the needs of the consumer. Okay, as on today in the Vidarbha region, is the one of the most popular crop is nothing but the cotton which is being produced. Okay, and there are several type of diseases due to the weather changes. It is being coming up onto this cotton plant, and we have to find out the solution for that. So biotechnology is one of the strategy to be adopted in order to obtain such a suitable varieties, changing the varieties with the traits of interest and with the changing environment. So 21st century plants will be genetically modified plants. So agriculture biotechnology, medical biotechnology, industrial biotechnology, and the environmental biotechnology. So the everywhere, okay, that genetically modified plant, GM plants, will be expected, and its use will be there. So the biotechnology definition, okay, that is any technological application that uses biological systems, living organism, or derivatives thereof to make or modify products or processes for specific use. Okay, so this is the definition of the biotechnology in the second, my first lecture also. We have seen that how the biotechnology is being defined, and accordingly how it is being implemented. Okay, so what is the agriculture biotechnology? Agriculture biotechnology is a collection of scientific techniques used to improve plants, animals, and microorganisms. Based on the understanding of DNA, scientists have developed solutions to increase agriculture productivity. Okay, so starting from the ability to identify genes that may confer advantages on certain crops and the ability to work with such characteristics very precisely. So the biotechnology enhances breeders' ability to make improvements in crops and livestock. So biotechnology enables improvement that are not possible with the traditional crossing of related species only. Okay, so agriculture biotechnology, we are basically trying to see that the crop production it increases. Okay, by improving the plants, animals, and the microorganism, and based on the understanding of the recombinant DNA, the scientists are developing and increasing the agriculture productivity. Okay. So the role of the biotechnology for the food security, that is a huge potential, is that if properly integrated with other technologies, okay, accompanied by systematic risk assessment and management, biosafety system used to address food security and other key agriculture challenges of poor countries. Okay, so biotechnology, it has a huge potential, but it should be properly addressed. Okay, that day somebody was asking that regarding the golden rice. Okay, on the WhatsApp or through some Google media, we have seen that the China has developed the rice with the plastic material. Okay, and it is available in the market, and that rice, it does not contain any food content, but it is basically the plastic, and the human being are not able to digest that. So it is basically what we can say, that the biotechnology is being used in the different sense just for the corruption. Okay, and therefore the security has to be there in the food. Okay, it should be used to address the food security, because our stomach is not designed to digest the plastic or any other polymer. Okay, rather it should have the characteristics and the qualities of the species of the that agriculture commodities. So how long has biotechnology been used in the agriculture and the food production? The first food product of biotechnology, we have seen that an enzyme used in the cheese production and yeast used for baking appeared in the market in the 1990s, and since 1995, farmers have been growing the genetically engineered crops. In 2003, the 7 million farmers in 18 countries, and more than 85% of them resource poor farmers in the developing world, were planting biotech crops. So almost one third of the global biotech crop area was grown in the developing countries. Okay. So how is agriculture biotechnology used? So genetic engineering, that is, scientists have learned how to move genes from one organism to another. So this has been called as the genetic modification, okay, genetic engineering or genetic improvement. So regardless of the name, the process allows the transfer of useful characteristics such as resistance to a disease into a plant, animal, and microorganism by inserting genes, DNA, from another organism. So virtually all crops improved with transfer DNA, often called as the GM crops or GMOs, to date have been developed to aid farmers to increase productivity by reducing crop damage from weeds, diseases, or the insects, which means that using the genes of the two or more species of the crop and then modifying it genetically so that the crop production also it increases. Okay, so this is what the biotechnology it is being used. Okay, so traditional plant breeding and the plant with the biotechnology. Let us say that in the traditional way, DNA is a strand genes, much like a strand of the pearls. Traditional plant breeding combines many genes at once. For example, this is the traditional donor, okay, desired gene. Okay, this multiplied by crosses with the commercial variety. Okay, so traditional donor multiplied by the or crosses with the commercial variety, and it forms the new variety. Many genes are transferred, and we get a desired gene. Okay, here you can see that with the green color, the traditional genes are there. With the white color, it is being shown, and here you can see that the green color is there, white color is also there with a new variety. So the plant biotechnology, that is using plant biotechnology, a single gene may be added to the strand. Okay. So here in this case, okay, complete what we can say that the complete chain of the DNA, okay, it is being there in the traditional plant breeding. Okay, whenever the plant breeding is there, and using a plant biotechnology, a single gene may be added. So this is the desired gene, this is the commercial variety. Now this single gene, okay, which is being desired, it is being added into the commercial variety, and then the new variety is there. So only desired gene is transferred. Okay, so this is possible only in case of the plant biotechnology. However, this is not possible in case of the traditional plant breeding. Okay, ट्रेडिशनल प्लांट ब्रीडिंग आपने भी देखा होगा कैसे करते हैं। मैंने पहले बताया था कि रेड रोज है, रेड रोज का एक पेड़ है, प्लांट है। ओके, व्हाइट रोज भी चाहिए, तो व्हाइट रोज के प्लांट की हम लोग कलम काट के उसको रेड रोज के प्लांट के ऊपर ट्रेडिशनल वे में उसको कंबाइन करते थे। 10-15 दिन बाद ओके एक मतलब दोनों ग्रो होते थे। ओके, प्लांट ब्रीडिंग में ओके कुछ सक्सेस भी कम था उसमें, लेकिन दोनों ग्रो होते थे। ठीक है, और दोनों ग्रो होने के बाद में वन ब्रांच इज पुटिंग अप गिविंग अप द रेड रोज, अनदर ब्रांच इज गिविंग अस द व्हाइट रोज। Okay, so this was the traditional method of the plant breeding. Now in the plant biotechnology, this is not the method. Okay, here the single desired gene can be transferred. Okay, and the new variety of the plant breeding is possible. So do we need the transgenic crops? Okay, this is the big question, that do we need the transgenic crops? Okay, somebody say that the transgenic crops are not required, somebody will say that it is required. Okay, so really it is a question for all the means all the agriculture people as well as all the countries, that how to feed the people, okay, with the same amount or same quantity of the एग्रीकल्चर लैंड। एग्रीकल्चर लैंड अगर हमारे पास में जितनी थी, मतलब 1000 एकड़ थी, तो 1000 एकड़ से तो वो तो कम होती जा रही है। उनके अगर एरिया कम होते जा रहा है और क्रॉप का यील्ड अगर नहीं बढ़ते जा रहा है, एंड अर्बनाइजेशन इज गोइंग ऑन, in that case do we need the transgenic crops? So really that we have to think for the global challenges, how to feed our people. Okay, so naturally biotechnology is the one way wherein the transgenic crops can be developed and it can be produced to for the survival of all humankind, okay, onto this nature. Okay, so it depending on where and for what purpose transgenic plant can require. That is, transgenic plant it result in higher yield, okay, result in improved quality, okay, confer pest or disease resistance, confer tolerance to heat, cold and drought, and provide the answer to the Rachel Carson's, that is silent spring, which alerted people to the danger of chemical pesticide. Okay, so even in the area of the Vidarbha region, if you have seen that the most of the time, okay, the chemical fertilizers and the lot of chemical, it is being used in the producing the crop, and whatever the nutritional values which is being expected in the crop, it is being deteriorated and it is being not available. So therefore, okay, depending upon the location, depending upon the situation, depending upon the environment, depending upon the prevailing laws in India, USA, and other countries, we have to take a decision, because transgenic plant can result in the higher yield, improved quality will be there, okay, confer pest or disease resistance. So through the crops only, agriculture crops only, the disease resistance will be developed, and conference tolerance to heat, cold, and the drought. And this can be a replacement to the chemical pesticide, because there is a lot of danger of the chemical pesticide. Okay, so therefore it is being useful. For example, okay, in the Delhi region, 1 decade ago, nobody was purchasing the spinach. Okay, पालक सब्जी को कोई यूज नहीं करता था दिल्ली रीजन में, या परचेस करना नहीं चाहता था, क्योंकि what was seen is that where the spinach is grown, okay, spinach is grown in the lakes, or sorry, spinach is grown on the river side of the Yamuna river. And you know that in the Delhi, Yamuna river was the most polluted river across the world. Okay, so therefore उस पानी के सहायता से अगर स्पिनच लगाया जाता है, पालक का प्रोडक्शन किया जाता है, so naturally the food values, nutritional values in the spinach will not be there, and because of the use of the chemical pesticide, chemical fertilizer, that spinach has deteriorated its value. Okay, it may looks like a green, okay, your आप जो सब्जी बनाएंगे वो बहुत अच्छी लगेंगी, शायद टेस्टी लगेंगी, पालक से पालक पनीर बनाएंगे, कुछ बनाएंगे, but ultimately it was affecting the humankind or mankind, or the people, those who are using a spinach which is being provided on the produced on the side of the river like a Yamuna. So therefore, okay, अभी तो यमुना काफी क्लीन हो गई है, ऐसा सब कहते हैं, उसका पोल्यूशन, उसका जो है वो डिटोरेशन कम हो गया करके. But at the same time, the biotechnology or the transgenic plant, they can offer the options to such kind of dangers of the chemical pesticide. So the plant biotechnology, it is basically about the more food, better food, and better for the environment. So we are always looking for the naturally the more crop production, and the better food and better for the environment, and it depends upon the requirement also. Okay, यहाँ पे आप एक पिक्चर देख रहे हैं, बच्चे के साइज का, उसके भी बड़े साइज का यहाँ पे आप लोग एक फल देख रहे हो, ठीक है, उसी तरह का जो है आप यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं कि साइज ऑफ द बनाना आल्सो it is being increased. And when I was at the Sri Sant Gajanan Maharaj College of Engineering, Shiga, while traveling to Aurangabad, at one place, I do not remember the name of the place, but I have seen that the onions were there. And can you imagine, उनके एक एक ओनियन की जो साइज थी वो करीबन 10-10 किलो के साइज का एक एक ओनियन था. सो आई आस्क्ड द ट्रक ओनर, दैट लॉरी ओनर, कि ये इस तरह के ओनियन कहाँ लेके जा रहे हो, एक एक ओनियन 10-10, 15-15 किलो का है, केजी का है. Nobody would like to purchase that kind of onion. So what he said that, okay, this kind of onion, they are sold in the hotels where the quantity of onion required is very high. Okay, and these onions, they are processed with the help of machines. Processed with the help of machines means उसको जो उस pieces में cut किया जाता है, that is also being cut with the help of the machines. Okay, and manual labor or manual operation is not there. So therefore it depends upon the requirement of the location, requirement, and as per the requirement, for the better environment, for the better food, and for the more food, the plant biotechnology is being used. Okay, so the question arises, are transgenic plants safe? Okay, so the major GMO concerns, okay, that is genetically modified organisms concern, that is food safety, that is control of food supply, okay, biodiversity loss via super monoculture, biodiversity risk, okay, interbreeding, non-target impact, gene hopping, transgenic monsters, fear of the unknown, and it's a natural process. So the while developing that, okay, food safety is to be taken into the control, is taken into the consideration, and the control of food supply, it is also being required. Then major GMO promises, that is more abundant and the healthy food, okay, less dependence on the pesticide, because the while developing the genetically modified crop, we see that, okay, the disease resistance power is being developed into the seeds, and the crops will have the disease resistance power. So when the disease resistance power is there, we need to use the less pesticide, ओके, क्योंकि डिसीज रेजिस्टेंस पावर अगर बढ़ गया है तो आपको मतलब कैसे है कि पेस्टिसाइड्स कम यूज करना पड़ेगा. सो दिस इज द मोर अबंडेंट एंड हेल्दी फूड, डिक्रीज प्रोडक्शन रिस्क फॉर फार्मर्स, okay, frost damage, pest and disease damage, and the higher yields will be there. So more agriculture yield per land mass to feed a hungry growing world population. Okay, as on today, okay, we are 130 crores populated country. Okay, 130 crore people population of India is there. China is ahead of us, maybe 150 crores population. Maybe in very few days we will be crossing the, okay, even the margin of 150 crores. Okay, once we have started from 70 lakhs, 90 crore, 80 crore. But as on today, 130 crore people and feeding them, okay, with the 130 crore people and with the same kind of land and with the same area of land, or rather reduced area of land, is one of the challenges before us. So therefore, more agriculture yield per land mass to be fed hungry growing world population, and more precise than the traditional breeding technique, because traditional breeding techniques were not accurate one, and they were also requiring certain time, okay, and this was not effective one. So the majority of the land devoted to transgenic crops in United States, okay, 68% of the land is devoted to the transgenic crops. In Argentina, around 22% land is devoted. In Canada, 6%, and in China, 3% of the land is devoted for the transgenic crops. Okay, our country has a large variety. Okay, our food habits are also different. It changes from regions to region. Okay, when you ship from Maharashtra to Telangana, or Maharashtra to Chhattisgarh, or the Andhra Pradesh, southern part of the country, our food habits are also keeps on changing. Okay, so therefore, okay, here in this case, lesser than the 1% of the land is being devoted in India for the transgenic crops. Okay, there are some issues also which we need to solve in India. So crops improved through biotechnology that are grown most frequently. Okay, what kind of crops are being developed with the biotechnology? That is, soybeans are there, corn is there, cotton and canola. Okay, these are all the crops which has been improved through the use of the biotechnology. So the agriculture biotechnology, that is first generation biotechnology, it was used for producing the wine, beer, cheese, or the vaccines. Second generation of biotechnology, that is conventional breeding, okay, tissue culture techniques. Third generation of the biotechnology, okay, that is a modern biotechnology, that recombinant DNA technology, or GMOs, or genomics. This was the third stage of the third generation of the biotechnology. So presently we are using the modern technology, or the third generation biotechnology. In future, it will happen that the fourth generation biotechnology, fifth generation biotechnology will be there, and wherein more or less extensive use of GMO modified, GMO developed, okay, genetically modified crops will be there. Okay. So in agriculture biotechnology, that is third generation, that is modern biotechnology, GM products is not a silver bullet or a quick fix to solve the world's poverty and food security problem. Okay, so even though we are in the third stage, third generation of modern biotechnology, so it is not like a silver bullet or a quick fix to solve the world's poverty. Okay, lot of research, lot of work has to be done to solve the food security problem. So when combined with conventional approaches, it can go a long way in the improvement of the productivity. So what we can see that, okay, we cannot be only dependent on the biotechnology or GM products or GM crops. We need to focus the improvement in the conventional crop, okay, with the conventional method, and then using the GM products, using the modern biotechnology products, or using the modern biotechnology crop, so that we can have a balance of the food security and we can solve the problem of the world's poverty. So it does require a new way of thinking, organization, and communication. Okay, so we need to think this is the right time that in 2020 that we need to think about all these things. Okay. So comprehensive approach to the agriculture biotechnology, that is the complete cycle I have given. Okay, like economic growth, food security, improved nutrition. So research and development, because this is outreach and communication. Technology transfer, that is intellectual property right. Okay, we have seen that very recently the IPR laws regarding the biotechnology product or the biotechnology are being introduced still in India because of the food safety and many other issues, many other concerns. The IPR is not easily granted to such kind of crops or such kind of product. So biosafety, that is regulatory framework, food and environment safety, these are also concerns which we have to take into consideration. Okay. Then the conventional breeding, okay, we have discussed just now. I told that the conventional breeding also it has to be used. We cannot be totally dependent on only on the biotechnology. Varietal release, okay, and then taking the farmers and extending the facilities, okay, toward the farmers and the stewardship. Okay, people are not ready to take up the ownership of the development. Okay, just they develop it, try to give it to the farmers. But what happens next? Whether the farmer is able to increase its yield of the crop or not, whether its production has been increased or not, that kind of feedback is not being taken. So therefore, the extending the facilities, giving them the such kind of GM products or the GM seeds, at the same time, the stewardship is required. Okay. So agriculture industry outreach, that is public outreach, market and trade. So this is the complete cycle which we have to think of, and which is nothing but the comprehensive approach for the agriculture biotechnology. So major policy issues in agriculture biotechnology. हॅलो हां मी कॉलेजला सध्या आता लेक्चर चालू आहे माझं पोचली असेल बहुतेक हो हो ठीक आहे major issues in agriculture biotechnology. Okay, so biosafety, that is the food safety, environmental safety, regulatory framework, and the food aid. So major policy issues in the agriculture biotechnology is regarding the biosafety, food safety, environmental safety, regulatory frameworks, and the food aid. Okay. Intellectual property rights, plant variety production, because patenting of technology, processes, and product, it is being the issues in the major policy. International trade, that is labeling, export market to Europe. Okay, treaty, that is Cartagena Protocol on biosafety. Okay, globalization and control of the world's food supply by multinational companies. So major policy issues in agriculture biotechnology in the communication and the outreach, that is public awareness and acceptance, okay, policymakers awareness, agriculture industry awareness, consumer benefits, trust in science and regulatory system, and newsworthiness of the GM food. So the communication and the outreach, that is public awareness, is one of the issues, and its acceptance. Okay, even if the GM products or GM crop is being developed. क्लास चालू आहे माझा 5:30 पर्यंत आहे क्लास. हा काय 1,00,000 रुपयेचं कमिटमेंट पाहिजे प्रिन्सिपल कडनं कॉलेजच्या, त्याच्यात टाकावं लागते. हो नाही नाही ते अमाऊंट टाकावं लागते, कमिटमेंट ऑफ द कॉलेज. ते भरताना फॉर्म भरताना टाकावं लागते. जेव्हा नाही पूर्ण कॉलेजसाठी. हो आणि जे ऑडिट करताना 2 लाखाचं ऑडिट करावं लागतं. हो हो वर्कशॉप येईल मुलांचे, ऍक्टिव्हिटीज येईल मुलांच्या, ठीक आहे, कल्चरल प्रोग्राम येईल, सगळेच प्रोग्राम, सगळे तुम्ही जे विद्यार्थ्यावर खर्च करता ते सगळे कल्चरल प्रोग्राम सगळे. फक्त एक कल्चरलच म्हणजे एकटंच नाही येणार, सगळेच येणार. वर्कशॉप ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम मुलांसाठी जे केलं ते. नाही 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 प्रपोजल सँक्शन झाल्यावर तिथून 1 वर्षाच्या. हो 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 त्या त्या याला त्या अकाउंटला 2 लाख रुपये अलोकेट करायचं आणि मग त्याच्यानंतर त्याच्यातून ते खर्च करायचे. 1 लाख AICT चे खर्च करायचे, 1 लाख त्याचे खर्च करायचे, 2 लाख खर्च करायचे, 2 लाखाचं ऑडिट करायचं. तर तुम्हाला AICT जे 1 लाख दिलेले आहे ते तुमचे होतील असं आहे. नाही तर नाही होणार मग ते. असं कमिटमेंट लागते. ठीक. So communication and the outreach, that is public awareness and acceptance, policymaker awareness, agricultural industry awareness, consumer benefits, trust in science and regulatory system, newsworthiness of GM food. Okay, so this is what it is. Major policy issues are there. Then in the agriculture biotechnology, one of the issue is that the public-private sector partnership and the linkages. That is, private sector concentrate on major crops such as corn, soybean, and the cotton, because this is the mostly grown in India. The production is also very high, cotton, soybean, and the corn. Okay, and variety of the crops are not being produced. So therefore, the private sectors also, they would like to concentrate on the major crops like a corn, soybean, and cotton. इसमें से कॉर्न और सोयाबीन को फूड के लिए फूड जैसे यूज करेंगे, लेकिन कॉटन का कोई फूड जैसे यूज नहीं हो रहा है. ओके, सो देयरफॉर this is one of the challenges, this is one of the issues in the agriculture biotechnology. Public sector concentrate on papaya, potato, cassava, sweet potato, banana, etc. And private sector has a deep pockets to comply with the regulatory requirements. So biotechnology policy, the challenges and constraints in the developing countries, that is, let us see that for percolating the biotechnology in the agriculture area, and particularly in the tribal areas or in the developing countries, okay, these are all the constraints are there. So those strategies for communication and outreach, policymaker awareness and public awareness. Okay, so lack of human resources. हेलो भैया, हाँ क्लास चालू है, क्लास चालू है मेरा, मैं फोन करता हूँ 1 घंटे में. हाँ, no strategies for communication and outreach, policymaker awareness and public awareness, lack of human resources with expertise in biotechnology related policies, lack of financial resources to develop and implement policies, lack of political will also to adopt the biotechnology and address the crop productivity, limited number of countries develop and implemented national biotechnology strategies, and lack of viable seed industries. Okay, so this is the one of the challenges in the developing countries. Okay, wherein limited countries have developed and implemented the national biotechnology strategies. Okay, and there is a lack of political will also to adopt the biotechnology and address the crop productivity. Okay, we are at, as on date also, we are not focusing a lot on the biotechnology or developing the products with the biotechnology. So the lack of financial resources, lack of human resources, expertise in the biotechnology, these are all the issues. And in the India, okay, that is this framework is given, that is Ministry of Agriculture is there, Department of Biotechnology, DBT, okay, then the Ministry of Environmental and the Forestry, then the Genetic Engineering Appraisal, okay, GEAC committee is there, Review Committee on Genetic Manipulation, Monitoring Evaluation Committee, Applicant Investigator, State Government. Okay, Department of Biotechnology is there. Okay, only very few people may be knowing that this kind of Department of Biotechnology is there, which is associated separately with the Department of Science and Technology. And India is also focusing on the biotechnology and the development of the crops, GM crops or GM seeds with the help of the biotechnology. Okay. So biotechnology policy challenges and constraints, that is lack of cooperation among government ministries regulating biotechnology derived product. Okay, lack of public-private sector partnership that are critical to both R&D and commercialization, international trade barriers, food aid issues, compliance with two or international protocol treaties, lack of infrastructure and institutional support structure, bio containment facilities, PVP, patent offices, food safety, lack of risk assessment capacity, and the expertise. So these are all the problems are there, issues are there. These are all challenges are there. Lack of the cooperation even among the government ministries is there. Okay, this is the example I can quote you that Ramdev Baba in India has come up and started marketing that कि कोरोना वायरस को डील करने के लिए वैक्सीन की जगह एक मेडिसिन रामदेव बाबा ने निकाली है, and the product was marketed like that, and it was like an Ayurvedic product. So then the marketing campaign run किया गया, हो सकता है थोड़ा सा गलत हो गया होगा marketing campaign, but there are again the allopathy doctors or the conventional one, okay, and a lot of fight was there, and you know that there was a no lack of cooperation among the government ministries, and the issue was faced. Okay, I don't know how it is helpful that medicine proposed by the Ramdev Baba, but people in India, they say that, okay, your immunity can be developed by consuming that Ayurvedic product, which is being developed by the, that is Ramdev Baba. Okay, so therefore, okay, there is a lack of cooperation even among the government ministries regarding the regulating biotechnology and its derived product. So elements of the biosafety framework to regulate the GM, that is legislative component is there, that is GM Act or law passed by the Parliament. Okay, this is required. Specific GM regulation linked to the GM Act and to be implemented and administered by a government department. Biosafety framework implemented to assess scientific risk of GM product, ensure the assess the socio-economic impact and ensure the public communication. So this is the biosafety framework which I have shown to you. Okay, it is not available in India, but in Africa and other countries, this kind of biosafety framework is there. That is GMO Executive Council is there, Scientific Advisory Committee is there, which assess for the risk assessment and management, appoint scientific review panel, GMO registrar, that is Department of Agriculture duties, communication with public, application for GMO permit for field test. Okay, so roadmap for the commercialization of the genetically modified product, that is R&D. Okay, to meet all these challenges, the global challenges. Okay, what is being required for commercialization? What is the roadmap? Okay, so the R&D, that is technology development, field test and establish proof of concept. Okay, product development, that is multi-location field trials, cultivar development and bulking up material. Regulatory file development, perform food safety analysis. Okay, and then the obtain freedom to operate, that who owns the intellectual property of all the components of the product. Okay, dissemination strategy, how will product reach the farmer? Okay, will private sector seed companies be involved? Okay, extension, that is how do farmers grow and cultivate the product? Stewardship and liability, that is management of the product by farmers, processors and the exporter, and the public communication of benefits and the impact. So this is all the roadmap for the commercialization of the GM product. So global adoption of GM crops, that is 2018. Okay, that is country USA, that is area of GM crops. Okay, that is 39 mega hectare. Okay, crop produce is nothing but soybean, cotton, corn, and canola. Argentina, okay, 13.5 mega hectare. That is soybean, corn is there. Canada focuses on soybean, canola, and corn. China, cotton is there. South Africa, cotton, corn, soybean. Okay. Australia, zero point 0.5, zero point 0.1 mega hectare. And in India, even less than 0.1 mega hectare, and the cotton. Okay. Only product, GM product, which we are producing now is nothing but the cotton in 2018. Okay, so global adoption rates of the GMOs, okay, that is global area in millions of hectares. Soybean 51%, as per the crops it is given. Okay, here cotton 34%. Okay, then canola, we can say the 25%. Maize is there. Okay, 140 is the global area. 12.44% is the transgenic area. So opportunities for the applying the biotechnology, okay, that is world population has increased from 2.5 billion in 1950 to 6.7 billion today, and is estimated to reach almost 9.2 billion by 2050. Okay, with the rate with which the world population is increasing, so we can expect that by 2050 almost we will reach to the 9.2 billions. Okay, so with that growth rate comes the challenge of producing enough food to meet the demands of the world's people, and even greater challenge of producing it in a way that conserves the biodiversity and other natural resources on which societies depend. Okay, so producing, feeding these people, 9.2 billion people. Okay, and then without having the conserving the biodiversity as well as protecting the natural resources like water, coal, and everything. Okay, so it is very essential for us, and these are all opportunities are there. One estimate is that agriculture production will need to increase by 50% by 2020 to meet the world's demand for food. Okay, so technological innovation has helped us to ease some problem posed by the population growth over the last 50 years. Agriculture productivity has doubled worldwide and even tripled in the developing countries. So during the 20th century, Green Revolution drew on the research of conventional plant breeders to develop higher yielding crops that were successful in increasing the global food supply. We know that in India in 1960, the Green Revolution was there. Okay, Green Revolution means क्या है कि हमारा जो हरित क्रांति जिसको बोलते हैं इंडिया में हुई थी, वो हरित क्रांति में हमारा क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन जो है वो क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज हो गया. ओके, बाय मल्टीफोल्ड इट हैज बीन इंक्रीज. हेलो. Okay. So, however, the new crop varieties introduced in the Green Revolution created dependence of additional farming inputs and created some new environmental problem. Okay. So, in 1960, we have seen the Green Revolution in India, and then India even started increase its production and started exporting to the nearby countries, and the food production was at the peak. Okay, and it was expected that by 2020 the world food production it should get double. Okay, so today with finite average of high quality agriculture land on which to grow food, biotechnology has emerged as a potential tool for overcoming the current limitations on food production. So many have asked whether biotechnology can live up to its promise and whether it will also generate new dependencies and the problem. So improving the crop productivity. So biotechnology is the application of scientific and engineering principle to the processing or production of materials by biological agents. Agriculture biotechnology encompasses a growing list of techniques that range from simple probes to determine whether an individual plant or animal is carrying or specific gene to measurement the activity of all organism gene. One technique common in agriculture biotechnology is the integration of a gene from one species to the genome of another. So, genetic engineering allows novel characteristics to be introduced into a plant. This could not generally be accomplished with a standard breeding technique. So, improving the crop productivity. So, selected apply opportunities for applying biotechnology. Okay, in crop productivity, basically overcoming biotic stresses. Okay, nutritional value of crops, that is enhancing vitamin concentration, enhancing mineral concentration, enhancing protein concentration, plant-made pharmaceuticals, vaccine, okay, protein therapies, improved food security, okay, reducing post-harvest loss, biodiversity, engineering safeguard, okay, natural resource conservation, that is renewable energy. Okay. So let us see the biotech products which is being available in market and how it is being modified and it is being used. So biotech products include the proteins in which is used in the home pregnancy tests, that is monoclonal antibodies, frost resistant strawberry plants are there. Okay, so although many are focused on medical and agriculture application, some are of our own fashion and interest, especially April. Okay. So genes for beans, okay, that is stonewatch genes use the genetically engineered enzymes, okay, amylase and the cellulose to create a faded loop. Okay, there is a lot of demand for such type of genes in the market. Okay, new generation, the people, they would like to prefer the such kind of, okay, genes. So therefore this is being stonewatch genes use the genetically engineered enzyme to create a faded loop. Okay, and originally pumice stones were used. Okay, genes washed with the stones. Okay, so it was being done originally. Pumice stones were used and it was genes were basically washed. But now no need to do that. Okay, that is stonewash genes. They are the genetically engineered enzyme where the faded leak can be provided over here. So this method damaged the machines. Okay, conventional method, it has damaged the machines. Then microbial application, that is bacteria and yeast are the most frequently used microbes. So better enzymes and organism for making food, simplifying manufacture and production processes, and making decontamination processes for industrial waste product removal more efficient. Okay, microbes used to clone and produce batch amount of important proteins. So the agriculture application, okay, that is agriculture biotechnology is estimated to be $6 billion market in 2005, including applications such as pest resistance plant, higher production and vitamin content in food, drugs developed and grown as a plant produce products, and drought resistant, cold tolerant and higher yielding crops. So the plant advantage, the agrobiotech field boasts about the plant advantage over the microbial biotech. Okay. So plant advantage refers to the fact that the cost of producing plant material with recombinant proteins is often significantly lower than the bacteria. Okay. Also, the agrobiotech may combine with the medical biotech in order to produce the drugs with the molecular farming. Okay. So this is also the molecular farming which is being going on. So it is the molecular farming is the use of genetically modified plants as a source of pharmaceutical products. Okay, these are usually recombinant proteins with the therapeutic value. Okay, so this is an emerging but very challenging field that requires the manipulation, okay, at the genetic engineering level of protein, okay, glycosylation, addition of, okay, polysaccharide chain, subcellular protein targeting in plant. So biotechnology applications in agriculture, that is increasing the food production, agrochemical based agriculture, organic culture, genetically engineered crop based agriculture. So the green revolution, that is crop production increased by using improved crop varieties, better crop management and practices, and use of agrochemical. Food supply was tripled but was not enough for growing population. Agrochemicals were too expensive for farmers to afford, and increasing yield, okay, with existing varieties are not possible with conventional breeding technology. This is one of the challenge before us. So therefore, we need to shift toward the biotechnology and its introduction. So some useful aspects of GM plants in agriculture, that is a improvement of nutritional quality, vitamin A, enriched rice, okay, golden rice. We have seen that it is can be used as a medicinal rice, like to treat with the vitamin E, better nitrogen fixation, tolerant to abiotic stress, reduce reliance on chemical pesticide, reduce post-harvest losses, increase efficiency of mineral usage by plant, production of disease resistance crop, micro propagation of biomass energy reduction. Okay, so these are various useful aspects of GM plants when it is being used in the agriculture. So these are all the top 10 genetically modified foods are there. Okay, some of them we have seen that. Okay, so cotton seed is there, which is mostly used in India. Okay, cotton seeds. Then the soya, okay, from soya milk, okay, soya, that is Nutrila, okay, and everything it is being possible. Okay, then tomatoes, okay, GM tomatoes, then papaya, peas, potatoes, corn, dairy product, canola. Okay, these are all the top 10 genetically modified foods are nowadays it is being available. Then the pest resistance plant, that is a biotechnology in agriculture. Pest resistance plants are there. Development of pest resistant plant, reduce the use of pesticide. Okay. So one such approach, introduction of Bt toxic to target the plant, that is Bt cotton we say in India. Okay, tomato, potato, and soybean. Okay. So Bt toxin produced by Bacillus due to presence of the Bt toxin gene. Okay. So mechanism of Bt toxin and Bt cotton. Okay. That is activated toxin binds to surface of mid gut epithelial cells and create porous swellings, and Bt toxin isolated from bacteria coded by gene CRY. Okay, acrylic and krill AB cotton bollos. Okay. So this is what the transformation which is being taken place in the plant breeding. Okay, DNA extraction, isolation, then the cloning, designing genes. Okay. So the Bt cotton, we can say that Bt in inactive form spread on the crops. Okay, eaten by insects, and toxin gets activated by alkaline pH of the insect's gut, swelling of gut of insect, and death of the insect. Okay, so for Bt cotton, which is being developed GM product, we can say that. So Bt gene is transferred from the bacillus into the corn. Okay, European corn borer feeds on the corn plant and ingests the protein encoded by the Bt gene, and the Bt protein penetrates and collapses the cell's lining gut, and the insects die. Okay. पानी बोलो, पाण्याची bottle पिलेली. हाँ, ठीक है. So the pest resistance plant, okay. Method of genetically modified crop through RNA. So this I will skip. Animal applications, okay. animal applications, all of you know that we have studied also. That is for the agriculture purpose, okay, using the transgenic animals to express therapeutic proteins in milk, okay, in order to increase the milk production. So the goats, cattle, sheep, and chickens are sources of antibodies, protective proteins that recognizes and destroy foreign material. Okay, transgenic refers to containing genes from another source. So this is also we have studied that in 1996 the Dolly sheep became the first clone animal created by a somatic cell under nuclear transfer process, which was born on July 5, 1996, announced February 22nd, 1997, and also died on February 14, 2003. So Dolly was cloned from a cell taken from a 6-year-old. Okay, she became the center of much controversy, and as on today also, this controversy it is existing because cloning of the sheep, okay, and the birth of the Dolly sheep, it is not accepted the worldwide, and it was under the controversy, and still that kind of controversy is going on. Okay, so Dolly the sheep, the first mammal to be cloned from an adult cell. So Dolly gave birth to the 4 lambs. Okay, so this is what the in the Times magazine it Dolly sheep is pictured, and the cloning was in under the discussion under the critics throughout the world. Clone kitty, first two cats cloned by the chromatin transfer. Okay. Human clone, okay, you might have you might have seen also, you might have heard also about this human clone that Britain grants embryo cloning patent and became the first country in the world to grant a patent covering clone early stage human embryos. The decision ignited new controversy among biotechnology critics, even though the Jun Corporation, the company licensed to use the patent, has no intention of creating the clone humans. Okay, so patent was given by the Britain, okay, for this human clone. Okay, their intention was not there to use it for the multiple production or for the commercialization, but even then it was the topic of discussion, and a lot of critics was there among the biotechnology and its application. Okay, so cloning in the public eye is myth, okay, misconception. So that time the president of the America, Bush, says cloning human embryos is morally wrong. Okay, human embryos should not be cloned. This was the statement of the Bush. So knockouts, that is basic research in biotechnology, uses knockout experiences which are very helpful for learning about the function of gene. Okay, a knockout is created when an active gene is replaced with a DNA that has no functional information, and without the gene present, it may be possible to determine how the gene affect the organism, its function. So in for the agriculture, that is even the fish farming is done in our country. So aquatic applications of the biotechnology is also there. Aquaculture is a common aquatic application of biotech. Aquaculture is the process of raising finnish or shellfish is controlled condition for food resources. So transgenic salmon, increased growth rate, disease resistance fosters, vaccine against the viruses that infect aquatic species, and overall aquatic organisms are thought to be rich, valuable sources of new genes, proteins, and metabolic processes. Forensic applications are also there. Okay, DNA fingerprinting is the classic example of forensic application. It is used most commonly for law enforcement and crime scene investigation. Okay, first was used in 1987 to convict a rapist in England. Okay, forensic science for now it is being developing, and the DNA fingerprinting was first time it was used in 1987. okay, in England to convict the refuse. So other applications of DNA, that is fingerprinting, include identifying human remains, okay, paternity tests, endangered species, reduces the poaching, okay, then epidemiology, spread of the disease, environmental applications, that is major environmental use is the bioremediation. Okay, so what do you mean by the bioremediation? Is the use of biotech to process or degrade a variety of natural and man-made products, especially those contributing to the pollution. So environmental biotechnology has become another area of extensive work due to the dangers brought about by increasing levels of environmental pollution. Okay. So a lot of hard work is being done to protect our environment. So in this field, the job of biotechnology spans from checking industrial air pollution level, treatment of industrial waste to recycling of sewage sludge. So therefore, cleaning up environmental hazards produced by industrial progress is a major application of this type of biotechnology. So there is a strong tie to microbial biotech since many microbes are helpful for this area. So bioremediation, then the oil spill. Okay, in the 1970s, the first US GMO patent was granted to a scientist for a strain of bacteria capable of degrading components in crude oil. Okay, in 1989, the Exxon oil spill in Alaska used Pseudomonas species degrading oil degrading bacteria to clean up the spill. It was 3x faster and without increased environmental effects. The waste management, okay. So that is environmental pollution is a major concern problem for landfills are becoming full. Old dump sites are creating problem. Waste is piling up. Okay, sewage and chemical disposal is a constant problem. Okay, so genetically altered bacteria are used to feed and oil slicks and spills. Bacteria are being developed to decompose or deactivate dioxin, PCBs, insecticides, herbicides, and other chemical. So bacteria under development to convert solid waste into the sugars and a fuel. Okay, because solid waste management is one of again the biggest task in India. Okay, and the developing the bacteria's microbes so that they can digest it and convert it into the sugars or the fuel. That here also the biotechnology comes into the picture and which we have to think of. So in nutshell, we can say that biotechnology is the technology connected with the plant, animal, and the human life. So transplant organs for the human. So what we can say that inadequate supplies of human organs for transplantation result in more than 25,000 deaths annually. So the researchers are studying ways to develop organs in animals suitable to the transplanted into the humans until human organs becomes available. Especially promising are the pig organ. So transplantation of the organs, okay, that is donor is being required. जैसे कि किसी कोई ब्लाइंड है उसकी आंख अगर नहीं है तो उसको आंख कहाँ से मिलेगी, रेटिना कहाँ से मिलेगा, ठीक है. सो ट्रांसप्लांटेशन इज पॉसिबल when the one person becomes a death, and in that case if the eye donation is being done, then only the transplantation is being possible. So the biotechnology has a lot of scope for development of the human need or development of the human organ. Okay, there are many blind peoples are there throughout the world. Okay, and those who are looking for a retina, okay, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, they keep on waiting and they are not able to see the world. Okay, so therefore, okay, researchers studying the ways to develop the organs in animal and they are suitable to be transplanted into the human until human organs becomes available. Okay, so this is the photo of mouse growing an human ear, okay, a shape made of cartilage. Okay, so human ear is being developed in the mouse, and then this ear it will be transplanted into the human. Okay, So this is what the researchers are looking for. This is the biohand, that is knowledge from the joints, muscles, and the nerve. Okay, so biohand is being also being prepared. Okay, and it is being under application, that is connecting with the nervous systems and everything. Okay, so now I will come up with the case studies. I would like to focus some of the case studies in the area of the biotechnology. Okay, thanks to Abhijit that in the introduction of mine, he has told you that I have authored some 8 books for the CRC Press Taylor and Francis Group. This is one of the book which is authored for the CRC Press Taylor and Francis Group, that is additive manufacturing and the 3D printing technology, principles and application. And this book will be released in the month of February 2021. It is under the press, and in this book we have given certain case studies. So that case studies of the biotechnology that I would like to project here. Here you can see that the wrist, okay, how the joints are there and how it is being coordinating with each finger. So this is the human hand is there, human wrist is there. So what we have done is that we have prepared such type of prosthetic hand. Okay, so this is the prosthetic hand is there. Okay, and in this prosthetic hand, you can see that the independent motion of the each finger is also possible. Okay, this particular part, it is made up of the 3D printing material. It's a biomaterial which is compatible with the human organ, or which is compatible with the mankind. Okay, so this is, you can see that the fingers are there, all 5 fingers are there, and these fingers can be activated separately like our human wrist. Okay, now it is holding the this particular mobile. So we have explored that. One of the research candidate under my guidance, Mr. Mukul Pandey, he is exploring the possibilities of replacing the hand of the human robot, industrial robot, with the help of this prosthetic hand. Okay, जो हमारे पास जो रोबोट अवेलेबल था, वो रोबोट में it was a pick and place robot was there. Okay, pick and place robot means it has only motions थे. So 2 motions कौन से थे? Okay, gripper can close down, gripper can be apart. Okay, मतलब forward and reverse, these 2 motions was available, and this kind of industrial robot, it is being used for the lifting or shifting or changing the position of the workpiece material, which means that एक जगह से दूसरी जगह मटेरियल लेके जाने के लिए, दिस टाइप ऑफ फॉर द ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ द मटेरियल, द रोबोट वाज यूज्ड. So what we have seen is that like a prosthetic hand is being prepared, is being studied, is being fabricated onto this 3D printing. The machine which you are seeing is nothing but the 3D printing machine. So on this machine we have produced this prosthetic hand, and then okay, the pain is being given in the prosthetic hand, and we have seen that okay, that robot should be able to write. Okay, when the robot will be able to write, okay, when each finger of like a humankind, it is activated. So this kind of okay, it is the case study which we have done, and it is under the development, and we have demonstrated even to the doctors. And in future okay, जैसे जयपुर फुट है okay, या जयपुर हैंड है, उसमें क्या होता है कि एक हैंड लगा दिया या लेग लगा दिया तो उसके इंडिविजुअल फिंगर में कोई मूवमेंट नहीं है. ओके, मतलब वो पंजे में कोई मूवमेंट नहीं है. आपका एक हैंड है ओके, आपका एक लेग है, आपको परफॉर्म करने के लिए मतलब आप दौड़ नहीं सकते या फिर आप चल नहीं सकते, आर्टिफिशियल लेग लगा के आगे लेता है, लेकिन इंडिविजुअल फिंगर में कोई नहीं है. सो वी हैव सीन दैट इन दिस बायो मटेरियल there is a individual motion is there in the each finger, and presently it is used for the industrial robot. So later on, okay, it can be applied to the human being. So this is what the biotechnology case studies we have done. This is the second part of the case study. Already Abhijit has told you that Mr. Abhijit Raut, research scholar from the VNIT Nagpur, he has delivered the guest lecture in this short-term training program on the biotech, on the 3D printing. So in that case study also, this is the medical application wherein this implant is being prepared with the help of the 3D printing. For example, the artificial knee, artificial hip joint, okay, and there is a lot of pain is there, okay, for the people wherein the pain knee is not operating properly, friction is more in the knee or the hip joint. In this case, the option available with us is to replace the knee or to replace the hip. So in such cases, with the help of the biomaterial which is being used in the 3D printing application, we prepare such kind of model. We do it, okay, do the analysis and make it compatible to the human being. So this is like a skull example, okay, sorry, टीथ्स एग्जाम्पल, ओके, एक जॉ है हमारे माउथ का, ओके, जिसको स्टडी करके इसको इम्प्लांट तैयार करके, ओके, इसको बायोमटेरियल से बना के 3D प्रिंटिंग से मैन्युफैक्चर करके it is being implanted into the human body. So this case study is also being done by us in the area of the biotechnology. Okay, this is again, okay, one of the case study that is this is also projected in our book, which is authored by me, Dr. Thoraj sir, Professor Ambade, and Dr. D.P. Kothari. That is 3D printing technology is changing almost every area of our lives. It is used in medicine, in the automotive sector. Okay, here this kind of mask which is being prepared, it is used in the movies. Okay, these are all prepared by the biomaterial which can be kept. Okay, जैसे स्पाइडरमैन जैसे तैयार होता है, ओके, स्पाइडरमैन के ऊपर एक मतलब आपको जो है उसका अलग ही तरह का शेप दिखता है. ओके, सो इस तरह के मास्क जो है वो ह्यूमन मैनकाइंड के लिए तैयार किए गए हैं बायोमटेरियल से. ओके, एंड देन बाय अप्लाइंग, बाय स्टडिंग द ह्यूमन फेस कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, it can be used for a longer time also. Okay, so these are all about the case studies. Okay, so these are the genetically modified. Okay, you can see that the banana, broccoli, okay, then potato, maize. Okay, so these are all approved bioproducts. Okay, that is in 1990, that is approved from chronic diseases. 1994, first genetically engineered food. Okay, tomato is being approved. In 1994, the neutropin is approved for the growth of hormone deficiency. Okay, then patents undergoing balloon angioplasty. Okay, that is in 1994 it is being approved. These are the approved biotech products I am showing to you. Okay, then 1998 the Remicade TM approved monoclonal antibody of Crohn's disease. Okay, so famous biotech product. So insulin is a biotech product. Insulin is a hormone and therefore a protein. So insulin was the first hormone identified late 1920s, which won the doctor and medical student who discovered the Nobel Prize, Branting and Best. They discovered insulin by trying a string around a pancreatic duct of several dogs. Okay, so there are other hormones produced by different types of cell with pancreatic islate. Okay, but insulin is produced in far greater amount under normal conditions, making the simple approach used by Branting and Best success. They were successful. So properties of insulin, you know that insulin is secreted by groups of cells within the pancreas called the islet cell. Okay, so it is very useful for the diabetic patient. Okay. So Wockhardt launches the indigenous human recombinant insulin. Okay, in India, it was Khorakiwala, chairman of the Wockhardt Limited. Okay, Dr. M. Saib, director genomics and biotech research at the launch of human recombinant insulin. Okay. In Mumbai, it was launched. Okay. Some tools for the biotechnology. This I will skip. Okay. Okay. So overcoming the stresses, heat and drought, salinity. Okay, so the challenges and future consideration in realizing the global potential, that is the movement of the biotechnological innovations into farming systems of the developing world faces several challenges, including the simply knowing what crop characteristics farmers need. Okay, this particular SCTP is focusing on the agriculture biotechnology, okay, particularly in the tribal area. So we will see that that we have to focus on the several challenges, including simply knowing what crop characteristics farmers need, what they need basically. Proponents of genetic improvements in crops do not always appear attuned to the perspective of the poor farmers and have not thoroughly assessed their needs. So they are limited in their ability to forecast how farmers would benefit. In addition, unless developing countries can solve some of their difficult social, economic, and infrastructure problems, they may never realize the benefits of agriculture biotechnologies that could help to improve the productivity and align farmers with modern agriculture practices. Okay. So the challenges, that is developing the appropriate and affordable technologies. Okay. There is a need to develop technologies that complement existing farming system and native crops to provide them at affordable prices that are safe for humans and the environment. Diverse farming systems are there in India. Okay. Then the second challenge is determining priorities for the biotechnology. Okay, human clone is not our priority. Animal cloning is not our priority. So therefore, a country like India should decide the challenges or the priorities of the biotechnology. So national leaders are often need to make decisions about priorities with limited financial resources and user input and scientific understanding. So determining the research need, resource limitation and priorities, it is one of the challenge. Engaging the citizenry, okay, public participatory mechanisms are needed to gauge the needs and address concern, because government of India itself, okay, is not sufficient to deal with the challenges of the 21st century in the biotechnology and in the farming areas, particularly agriculture area. So transparent decision making, public-private partnership is being required. Farmers' participation is required. Cultural and religious issues are there. Biotechnology and a long-term public interest is being required, because many of the time, if the GM modified crop or seeds is being provided, okay, people says that it is not having nutritional value, and the anti-agenda, it is being launched by some of the conventional thinkers. So therefore, farmers' participation is very important. Okay, cultural and religious issues are to be addressed while developing the biotechnology for the agriculture area. Building scientific and local capacity, that is, investment is needed to build and strengthen the national scientific expertise in developing countries. Okay. Developing sustainable partnership, that is, partnership can be vital in stimulating research in resource poor countries, but it is important to recognize the goals of each partner. Challenge, that is engaging in global dialogue on agreements and protocol. So biodiversity, resolving the trade issues, protecting proprietary research, anticipating future needs and directions. So the future needs we have to anticipate, like a climate change, increase meat demand. Researcher and decision makers need to anticipate changes that will affect agriculture production and consumer demand. Okay. There are some ethical issues in India also for the application of the biotechnology in the agriculture area. That is a manipulation of living organism by the human race requires certain regulation. Ethical standards are required to evaluate the morality of all human activities that might help or harm living organism. Okay, Indian government has set up an organization such as GEAC, that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, which makes decision regarding the validity of GM research and the safety of introducing GM organism for public services. The modification usage of living organism for public services as and medicine resources, for example, has also created problems with the patent. So while patenting also, lots of problems are there, and GEAC approval, government approval is being required, and there are some ethical issues also. Okay. So use of genetic material, plants, biological resources by companies granted with patent has triggered public anger since they have been identified, developed and used by farmers and people of specific countries. Okay. So in the specific countries it is being used. Okay. So this type of patent has created even the problem. Okay. So biosafety protocol. Okay, that is patent office is not able to the grant patent, and there is again security safety problems are there. Okay, so basmati rice, okay, it is being marketed as a kasmati rice, texmati rice. Okay, so safety of the product, it is also being required. So rice is life, not corporate business. Say no to GMOs. Don't let big businessmen rule the world. So awareness among the people, then using them, okay, and the partnership of the farmers, okay, participation of the farmers is very important. So the several attempts have also been made to patent uses, products and processes based on Indian traditional herbal medicines. Okay, like a turmeric and neem, okay, product where the it is being patented. We should be vigilant and counter this patent application, else other countries individual may encash on our okay rich legacy, and we may not be able to do anything out of that. Okay, so we need to focus on our conventional nutritional plants and the values like a haldi, like a neem. That day in my first lecture I was talking about the patent of the haldi, patent of the neem, okay, patent of the basmati rice, how India has fought for getting a patent. Okay, because genetically modified seeds has been prepared by some other countries and they were filing the patent, and it was there in existence in India. So biopiracy is also there. Okay, the industrialized nations are rich financially but poor in biodiversity and traditional knowledge. In contrast, the developing and underdeveloped world in rich biodiversity and traditional knowledge related to bioresources. So stop patenting the mafia. This was again the agenda in India. Okay, and then the proper rules and regulation and the framework, it is been expected. So realization of the injustice, inadequate compensation and benefit sharing between developed and developing countries led some nations to develop laws to prevent such unauthorized exploitation of bioresources and traditional knowledge. So Indian Parliament has cleared the second amendment of the Indian Patent Bill that makes such issues into consideration, including patent terms, emergency provision, research and development initiatives. So, in nutshell, I can conclude here that there are several challenges for implementation of the biotechnology in the Indian scenario, Indian agriculture farming, and particularly the tribal farming. Okay, and all these issues, the global issues are also there, and the Indian issues are also there. Farmers' participation, developing it, okay, in the proper sense, utilizing it, acceptance by the people, all these things are required. Okay, so I had been to the one of the modern plant at Ahmednagar long back. I think I was at Shigaon Engineering College. That time it was in 2000. Okay, I have seen one plant wherein the spinach was crushed down. Okay, spinach was crushed down and the particle of the spinach was produced. Okay, it's like a mirchi powder. Okay, पालक का ऐसे powder form में किया जाता था. And in India, when the spinach is readily available, nobody uses that kind of powder. Okay, so we have asked them that ये spinach आपने कहाँ से तैयार किया, क्या किया? So they said that it is a genetically modified seeds which is being brought by us in India, and we are planting that spinach, and then we are growing it. The crop of the yield is more, but we are not selling it. We are only processing it, and we are exporting this spinach powder outside of the India, because Indians, they do not like the spinach powder because spinach is readily available at an affordable cost. So who will buy the spinach powder उनके at home? पालक की जगह पालक का पाउडर कौन लाएगा और पाउडर कौन खाएगा? इस तरह का एजेंडा था. So this was possible 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But if you see, look at the rate of population in India and throughout the global level, we have to always think of providing the food to each and everyone. So therefore, the biotechnology can be a boon to our agriculture farming, particularly in the tribal areas, and we can develop the GM crops. We can increase the production. We can increase the yield of the plant. At the same time, the disease resistance plants can be developed with the GMs. So with this note, I conclude here, and I hope that there will be a lot of benefit which will be gained by the farmers in the tribal region because of this short-term training program, and because of you people, those who will be helping the farmers of this country, farmers of your region, so that they can survive and they can become a part of our country like India. Okay. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Over to Abhijit. So if any
Yes,
questions,
thank you so much, sir. In case if any of the participants have any questions, you can, you can just ask your questions. And if you are, you can unmute yourself and ask the questions directly to our resource persons. And in case if you are not comfortable to unmute, then you can always type in your question in the chat box, and we can read it out. Sir, there is one query which is raised by Jayasri ma'am, and she is saying that humans successfully cloned, then animals also cloned. Then why our field is not concentrating on that? It will help to build the biodiversity, and also we can save the life of destroying species. We already know the situation of tiger species. So.
yeah, that is true. But our ecosystem, it has to be balanced. One very good question, Jayashri ma'am. Okay, that our ecosystem, it has to be balanced. Okay, in particularly in the area where the college is located, Ballarpur Institute of Technology, where we have the National Tiger Project in the Tadoba. Okay, Tadoba is the place where the National Tiger Project is there, and in the last counting, last census, around 56 tigers were there. But so what is being happening that in that particular area, the deforestation, okay, it is being happening. Okay, so the population of the Chandrapur district or the nearby Taloba or the nearby Ballarpur, it is being increasing, okay, day by day, and people are not finding the land to survive, land to construct the house. So what is happening? वो लोग जो है, okay, जंगल तोड़ तोड़ के जो है वो जंगल के एरिया में जा रहे हैं. So naturally, the area which was reserved as a forest for the tiger, okay, it is getting reducing because mankind is encroaching on the tiger's area. So now what is happening is that tigers are coming out of the forest, and they are attacking the human being. So therefore, okay, ecosystem, eco balance, it has to be set up. And particularly in India, the human cloning, animal cloning, it is not permitted by our law. Okay, so therefore, I think that this is not the right time to think on the human cloning or the animal cloning. But it is true that some of the species are degrading or they are dying in India. But it is like that in some area the some tigers means more quantity of tiger is available in some forest, less quantity of tiger is available. So that balance can be set by the conventional methods only. There we don't need the cloning of the tiger. This is what I feel. Okay, and the right time may come. Okay, uh, after some time for the cloning or permitting the human cloning or the permitting the animal cloning in India. But this is the present time that where the biotechnology should be thought of for the in the tribal areas farming or the agriculture farming for developing the crops, because we are always looking for the food to supply to the 130 crore people of India. Okay, otherwise what will happen? We will be dependent on the other countries. जैसे हमारे यहाँ 80% फ्यूल हमारे यहाँ एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट किया जाता है, मतलब आप फ्यूल डिपेंडेंट है. ओके, फ्यूल पूरा सऊदी कंट्री से हमारे यहाँ आता है. We have to put a lot of foreign exchange on procuring the fuel to India. So the if we are not concentrating on the GM products और GM क्रॉप्स एट प्रेजेंट, देन एक समय ऐसा आएगा कि इंडिया का करोड़ पॉपुलेशन अगर 150 करोड़ हो गया, लैंड एरिया हमारा अगर रिड्यूस हो गया, एंड हम लोग बायोटेक्नोलॉजी एरिया में अगर कुछ नहीं कर पाए, अफोर्डेबल टेक्नोलॉजी से अगर क्रॉप नहीं डेवलप कर पाए, यील्ड नहीं बढ़ा पाए, तो इन दैट केस we will be again dependent on the other countries, and lot of foreign exchange has to be put up. So therefore the farming is good and it is considered to be the Israel. जैसे कि सब लोग एग्जांपल देते हैं कि इसराइल एक छोटा देश है, ओके, और छोटा देश होने के बावजूद वो काफी क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन होता है. ओके, वहाँ के सब फार्मर्स जो है उसी तरह से क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन करते हैं, एंड दे इवन एक्सपोर्ट टू द अदर कंट्रीज. So we have to look at the Israel, okay, how the farming is there, what kind of techniques are there, what are the breeding techniques are there, how the biotechnology is being applied, how the breeding is being done, plant breeding is being done, and how the yield is to be increased. So this is what the area where the biotechnology should focus, okay, rather than focusing on the human cloning or the animal cloning. This is my opinion. Thank you very much. Okay, I hope that I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. There is one more query, sir, and that is asked by Dr. Arun Palanisamy. And he is asking, sir, what type of printer you are using for the 3D bioprinting?
What type of
Printer are you using for the 3D bioprinting?
it is the printer which we have used. Okay, it is very small in size. The kind of filter printer which we are using. Okay, it is the like I say that. Okay, the printer is available in our college. Okay, and it is not a modern printer. However, it is only costing around 60, and the local supplier, he has helped us to develop the 3D printer basically. It is not being imported.
Okay.
Any other question?
Okay. I suppose there are no questions in the chat box, sir. So we may presume
Or
that.
rest of the details about the 3D printing that complete regarding the case studies, regarding the all kind of machines which is being used, and the it is being available in our book. So sir can procure the book for the library. Okay, whenever it is being released, but the on Amazon it is being available from last 6 months, and order booking is still going on. So very good question by the Dr. Arun Palaniswamy. Okay, I hope that you are also working in that area, in the area of 3D printing. So thank you very much.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, for yesterday, Abhijit sir had come across the word of hard 3D printing. I had gone through it by yesterday. I had learned that STLC printer is used for hot printing,
Yeah.
hot 3D printing, and how it is will be how the CT scan will be converted into 3D printing hot. It was a great wish to do it, sir,
Okay. So,
because you won't get a certain image of a particular person's heart using only a CT scan.
no, so in the 3D printing, okay, what we are doing is that, okay, particular scan images, okay, they are being scanned and they are being converted into the solid model with the help of the CAD model. Okay, and the scanned images feature, because we are having the regular interaction with the doctor. Okay, you see that in this particular area, only engineer or only the technologists like us, because I am also a mechanical engineer. Okay, so I may not be having the complete knowledge about the human body. So therefore, we have the panel of doctor on our panel of research from the Vasantdada Medical College in Nagpur. Okay, Dr. Saeed Irfandi is there. Okay, who is cooperating with us and who is contributing in our research. So, with the interaction with the doctor, only we are creating the 3D model, okay, directly converting the scan images by putting it somewhere on machine and then converting it to 3D model. It is not being possible, okay, because it's a 2D image. It can be converted, it cannot be converted into the 3D model. Okay, by interaction with the doctor itself, by taking the features, we apply the primitive features, all the features which is being required in the solid model. And with the help of the solid model, once it is designed, that image is being imported into the 3D printing, 3D printer, and then the layer by layer, the manufacturing, that is the 3D printing or the additive manufacturing is there, and it is being done. Okay. So I hope I have answered your question. Very good question, Jayashree ma'am. May I know
Thank you, sir.
you are from which college?
Dr. MGR University, sir, Chennai.
MGR University, Chennai. Okay, very good. So I can see a lot of participants from the outside of the Maharashtra state, like Jayashree, Dr. Arun Palaniswamy. Okay, so it's one of the very good initiative. So my email ID is also there, gkawari@gmail.com. Okay, and my mobile number is there, 9922 966 173. I hope that in the chat box, the Abhijit can float my email ID and the mobile number. It's my
Sure, sir,
pleasure
sure.
to join with you for the all kind of research work and whatever the kind of help you require at your university, because I know that MGR University is one of the well-known university in India. So it's my pleasure to conversate with you, communicate with you. And in future also, if you require any kind of help in the additive manufacturing and the 3D printing, it will be my pleasure. Okay, one more book I have authored, which is releasing on 17th of December this month. This book I have authored for the CRC Press, again, Taylor and Francis, which is basically on the automotive system. Okay, so automotive system may be useful for the automobile engineer, mechanical engineer, mechatronics engineer, and all these people. You can log on to the Amazon. The book order booking is going on from last 6 months. Okay, and this book will be launched on 17th of December 2020. Okay, automotive system book. So it's my pleasure to address in this short-term training program, and looking at the level of the participant and the level of the participation, I must congratulate the Dr. Rajnikant sir, Dr. Nimkar ma'am, Mr. Srikant Goje, okay, and Abhijit for coordinating, well coordinating such kind of short-term training program, which is being sponsored by the All India Council for Technical Education. Thank you very much. Over to Abhijit.
Yes, sir. So to all the attendees, the email ID of our expert speaker, Dr. G.K. Avari sir, and his mobile number has been shared in the chat box. The email is gkawari, AWARI @gmail.com, and mobile number is 9922966173. So it has been given in the chat box. You can record it. And now, on behalf of Ballarpur Institute of Technology, Ballarpur, and on behalf of the organizing committee of this short-term training program, which is sponsored by All India Council for Technical Education, I thank you, Avari sir, very much for conducting such a wonderful session. And we can, from the response of the participants in the chat box and from the queries that were asked, we can most certainly conclude that the session was very, very successful and was really interesting for our attendees. So once again, thank you very much for conducting such a wonderful session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, a general instruction to all the attendees. The feedback forms for all the 3 sessions which were conducted today will be shared on the WhatsApp group, and you can click on that link and you can fill in the feedback form for all the 3 sessions. The link to fill in the feedback form will remain open till 11 p.m. tonight, so please fill in the feedback form before 11 p.m. tonight. Tomorrow we will start our session as usual at 12:30 p.m. I repeat, at 12:30 p.m. You are requested to join us by 12:25 p.m. The first session will be conducted by Business Development Manager of India of Valagro Biosciences Limited, and he will be conducting a session on abiotic stress management in plants. So it is a very burning topic all over the globe right now, and I will request all of you to please attend the session. It will be a very interesting session, as all of our other sessions have been. So in case of any queries, of course, you can get in touch with the coordinator of the short-term training program, Honorable Dr. Archana Nivkar ma'am. She is the coordinator of this short-term training program, and of course, Professor Neeraj Singh Baisar, who is the co-coordinator of this STTP. Both of their numbers have already been shared in the WhatsApp group, and their numbers are also available on the brochure which was shared. So right now, we will hereby conclude our session for today. And you can now disconnect from the meeting, and see you all tomorrow at 12:30. And also one more very important announcement, that attending tomorrow's session is compulsory, because we will be having valedictory function tomorrow. We will also announce the name of best participants, and at the same time we would also conduct a test, and it is very important that you appear for the test and score 60 marks or above. We will also conduct a short revision prior to the test, and then we will move on to solving the test. So thank you very much for attending today's session. See you tomorrow, all of you. Thank you.